Hello, thank you very much for clicking on this video, and welcome to my YouTube channel, and also welcome to my book review video today. So before I go into my book review, I want to just quickly introduce myself. My name is Oyinda Malashos. I am the host of the Bookmark Book Club. I also am a content creator and a change manager and live and work in London. I do this video as an opportunity for me to get people reading. It's one of my passions. I really want people to enjoy reading, not just reading, but also learning from the reading, and also just not just learning from reading as well, but also learning to see reading as an activity or something that you can actually enjoy. So that's my goal. That's why I do this. I also do these videos. My book review videos are slightly different from most book review videos in the sense that I don't review a book in a sense, but I read a portion from a book and give you my insights from that portion, what I gained from the book, and so that you can take it away and go action it in your life as well, even if you never read the book. So as I go into it, let me just quickly give you the book that I'm going to be reading today. I'm really excited about this one because, as I mentioned, I'm a change manager. So I'm going to be talking about two things that I really am very passionate about, which is books and change. So today I'm going to be reviewing Iceberg is Melting by John Kotter and Holger Rathberger. Yes, I got the pronunciation right. So it's a fable book written. If you work in the change management space, or if you basically just know a lot about change, you know about who John Kotter is. He's the originator of Kotter's 8 Steps to Change, and so you would have seen those change models. So he's written a number of books. He's an author. He's well known as a very respected change management expert. But in addition to all of the other books she's written, one of the reasons why I like this book, and if you've watched my last video where I spoke about storytelling, is that he actually talked about how to approach change from a fable perspective. So this book and a couple of other ones, there's one other one that I really like that talks about change in a fable way, is Who Stole My Cheese? So this is another one similar to Who Stole My Cheese, but this is one that is written in a different way. And he uses a colony of penguins to kind of bring home the story of how we should always be leading change, not just leading change, but be ahead of the curve of change. And you all must, as in regardless of whether you work in change management or not, or whether you've heard about what you or even know what change management is, you know that change is something that we've all had to deal with in the last year. And I always say to people that we need to move on from this whole change conversations about change readiness to change fitness, because change is something that we're not it's going to happen. It's the only constant in life. Things are always going to change. We go through changes in everything. You become an adult, you're a child. I have a child going to secondary school this year, so that's a change. There's a massive change. It's a change that we have to manage. So one way or the other, we're all managing change. So you don't have to be a change manager to manage change. And so I'm going to read an element from this book that I really found profound, and I also think that you would learn from, and something that I think you can take away regardless of whether or not you read the book. So I'm going to read from a portion of the book called I Cannot Do the Job Alone, and there's something I'm trying to bring out here. The next morning, a friend of No-No slid up to Lewis. Penguins can slide on their stomachs, though it looks bizarre to humans. He suggested that as the head penguin, it was Lewis's duty to analyze a problem, make plans, give out orders for others to execute, thus solving the melting iceberg problem himself. That's what leaders do. You're a great leader. You need no help. The birds then slid, one might say slid the way. Another penguin suggested that Lewis delegate the problem to the younger birds who were the experts on ice. Lewis pointed out patiently that those birds had little credibility in the colony, had no leadership skills, were very inexperienced, and a few were not well liked. The birds making this suggestion said, so what's your point? 2 members of the group of 10 asked when they were going to have their first melting strategy session. Lewis thought about what next step he should take, then called Alice, Fred, Buddy, and a penguin named Jordan to a quiet spot on the northwest side of the iceberg. Jordan was known as a professor, since it was the closest the leadership council had to an intellectual. If university were located on the iceberg, Jordan would have been a tenured member of the faculty. The head penguin said, the colony needs a team of birds to guide it through this difficult period. I cannot do the job alone. I believe the 5 of us are the best team for the task ahead. Alice nodded ever slightly. Buddy looked confused. Fred was surprised that he, a relatively junior penguin, was being included, but the professor was the first to speak. Why do you make the assumption that the 5 of us can succeed, he asked. Lewis nodded in his normal patient manner. Alice hid her irritation. If she had a watch, which she didn't, she would have been looking at her while tapping her foot. It is a reasonable question, the head penguin said. Look at the 5 of us. Professor, define the challenge clearly. Make a list in your mind each of our strengths and deduce an answer to your own question. Lewis never talked this way except when he was speaking to the professor. Jordan looked towards the horizon. If he could have heard the thoughts flashing through his penguin brain, he would have thought something like this. Lewis, head penguin, enough experience to be wise, patient, a bit conservative, not easily flustered, respected by almost all except No and the teenagers, smart but not an intellectual heavyweight. Alice, practical, aggressive, make things happen, doesn't care about status and treats everyone the same, impossible to intimidate, so does not even try, smart but not an intellectual heavyweight. Buddy, boyishly handsome, not the slightest bit ambitious, well trusted and liked by almost everyone. Maybe your wife likes him too much, definitely not an intellectual heavyweight. Fred, younger, probably in touch with junior birds, amazingly curious and creative, level-headed, nice pick, insufficient data to judge his IQ. Me, logical, actually very logical, well-read, fascinated by interesting questions. Not the most social of birds, but then why would anyone want to be a social bird? All of us appear to feel a sense of urgency to act, and now, thus, if the head pigeon is A, Alice is B, Buddy is C, Fred is D, and I am E, and urgency is F, then A, B, C plus D plus F clearly equals a strong group. I was really laughing because it's really funny, but basically what I'm trying to say here and my point I was trying to make with reading this part of the story. So like I said, it's a story about a colony of penguins who were living in an area where the iceberg was melting. So an inquisitive penguin went somewhere and said, oh my God, our iceberg is melting. And if our iceberg is melting, that means we need to look for somewhere else to live. What are we going to do about it? So it's a change that is coming to our colony of birds. And so he went to Lewis, who was the head penguin, who was like part of the leadership council, and then, took another set of penguins. So all of those penguins that I just spoke about, yes, they are penguins. Lewis, Alice, Buddy, Fred, and the professor were all the people who were part of the guiding coalition. So when Kotter talks about his 8 steps, he says you create a sense of urgency and then you create a guiding coalition. And so my point today, and what I'm trying to bring out here from a more less, technical perspective, is what are the team that you're building? What team are you building around you? Something else, some people call it a personal board of directors. This is a team of people. So in other words, I'll read one part where it says, you're a great leader. That's what leaders do. You're a great leader. You need no help. As I always say, and if you follow me on social media, you know that I talk about almost all of us having some sort of leadership capacity. And I always like to bring things to like a very personal level. So for instance, if you're an adult and you're a parent, you're a leader in your home. And then it's very easy for you to think, oh, I can do everything myself. I'm a great leader. The sign of a great leader is being able to do everything myself. But what the head penguin was saying here to Lewis, and what Lewis was trying to say here, was that everybody has different strengths. So if you read the last part where I was really smiling, it was like all of those penguins had their different strengths. So Lewis was enough experience. He was patient, doesn't get easily flustered. Alice, practical, aggressive, makes things happen. Buddy, boyishly handsome, everyone likes him. Fred, young, the young people can actually get what he needs, what he's trying to talk about. The professor who was talking about himself here, logical, very logical, intellectual, very, very brainy, but not all that social. In other words, this is the guiding coalition, and you can apply this principle to anything. You're starting a business, you're, thinking of how you want to get your child into a particular school, or, you need a team. And I use the word team loosely here because people think about team. When you think about teams, you always think about work and all of that. It could even be in your home. You might be a good parent, but you don't necessarily have the language that your child needs for something. So you probably need like an auntie or an uncle who they kind of talk to more to come and help your child navigate a certain area of their life. So you need a team. You need to build a solid team. You create a team of people around you that helps you to be able to make the right decisions. It is one of the greatest signs of leadership, and I think it's one of the best things that you can ever do as a leader. And I'm using the word leader loosely here. You don't have to have a title to be a leader. Wherever you are, you need people around you. You need to build a right team around you to be able to get the results and drive the changes or things you want to do in your life. And when I say change, it is, if you want to, let me give an example. Let me give a practical example. You want to move house, and that's a change, isn't it? You're trying to move house. It will be difficult for you to say, okay, you know what, I want to move house. So there are things that you're going to, There are things you're going to lead, so you know, but you need a estate agent. Do you want to start going around and going to look for every every house that you want to get in the area? So you need you will do some research yourself, but you get an estate agent, you get a mortgage broker, you get someone, you get a surveyor, who's going to help you see, oh, is the foundation of the house good, or all of that. So you need a team of people, regardless of whatever thing you're trying to do. You want to start a business, you need to speak to probably a coach or someone. Everything that we need to do in life, it is a fallacy to believe that you do. There are things that you need to drive. You need to have the vision. And that's one of the things that we always talk about. Change is driven by vision. This is where I want to get to, but you need a good team. So what team are you building? My last point before I end this video is, what are the things that you want to do in your life? What are the things that you hope to accomplish in your life? But what is the team you're building around you? What are the things? What is the team you're building around you to be able to accomplish it? It's not something that you can do by yourself. You need someone to help you to be able to build that team, to be able to build that vision, to work on that vision. So you need someone who has drive. You need someone, and that's what the guiding coalition was within this book. It's a fantastic read. I always read it every time I want to remember stuff. Obviously, it's a book that I read in the course of stuff that I want to do in my career, because a major part of my job is driving change. But it's, as I said, Iceberg is Melting by John Kotter and Holger Rathberger. It's a fable form story, and it's one that I highly recommend. I rarely give books 5/5, but I will give it a 5/5. So I hope this has been helpful. Again, what team are you building? I just want to reinforce that one more time. What team are you building around you for you to be able to get that result that you're looking for? Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe. Please, if you would like to join the Bookmark Book Club, I'll put the joining details also in the details of this video. Please join us. It's a really wonderful community that we're building of readers and learners. So thank you so much for watching, and have a lovely, lovely day ahead. Thank you.